In this video, I'm showing you how to use MongoDB Campus to do the aggregation. Um, so here basically is a list of my database. I already connected to my MongoDB Atlas cluster, and I will go into my database and I will use this insurance data set. Again, insurance data set includes the insurance information for different clients. And for each client, it has different fields, age, sex, BMI, children, smoker, region, and the charges. And in another video, I showed you how to run the find query using Compass. You can do filter and the project right over here. And there is the first tab we call documents. And after that, you click the find button. It's gonna help you to display the selected documents and the selected fields as well. And in this video, I'm gonna show you aggregate and which and then be used. So the aggregations tab will be used, and that is the tab next to documents. You can click the aggregation tab and it can show you several panels. It looks like this. So again, aggregation in MongoDB is different from other database language. And how MongoDB deal with aggregation is use a thing they call the multi-stage pipelines. And in this pipeline, you're gonna have different stage, and each stage it can take some documents as input, and based on the operation you defined on the stage, and you will get some outputs, and it can be one or multiple documents. And I mean, basically depends on what you want to do in this particular stage. So MongoDB Campus, the aggregation tab, it provides you a pipeline stage. And basically in this panel, it always starts from all the documents you have in the collection. And the first stage will basically is nothing. It's because that's everything you have in this collection. And in this panels, it provides you two columns. The first column is a operator on the particular stage, and the second column on the right-hand side will be called a sample of the results in this particular stage. So basically, we will have the first result is, like I said, everything in this collection is all the documents here. And it has a slide bar, and you can just drag in to see the different documents. And here it just show you a sample instead of everything. I mean, because usually one collection may have a lot of documents, and you don't want to see all of them. Let's just see a sample in how those documents look like. And then next thing, we can start from our stage. So you can starting at our the first stage. And on the second column, you don't need to worry about that. It just show you the sample, and it will update. It will do a live update. So whenever you modify your operations, and the preview will be updated. So you don't need to click any button and to make the updates. And the only thing we need to do is on the left-hand side, so the operator part. And each stage will have a panel, looks like that. And it will give you a, I mean, first it's a collapse button. If you think it's just too large, you can collapse it. And there is a drop-down menu, and it shows you all the available operators that you can use for a pipeline stage. We can start from, well, for example, project. And you can tab or just scroll up and down and search for the project operator. So after you do that, and here it's gonna give you prepare the curly brackets for you. You don't need to worry about that. And you just need to access specifications. So you need to specify which field you would like to include or exclude. So it's gonna be similar like what we did in the documents tab. So ID, let's say 0, and I want to include probably age 1, probably sex 1, and the BMI 1. So let's just include all the 3 fields. And then you see when I'm typing and the preview is updating right over here. So you can see all the documents, we include only 3 fields, and they don't have ID there. And that's it. So let's say we're done with the operation, and that's what we want to do. So then you can move to the next stage by adding a new stage. It has button here, so you can add a new one, and you can do the next operation. And let's just add another one. So we said another thing that we usually use called match. So we can do a match. Okay. So with a match stage, it does a filtering conditions, and you can define the conditions. So here is basically the query that we use in this MongoDB query. So what we can do is that, again, remember it's a pipeline. So now we are on the second stage, and the input into the second stage will be the output from the previous stage. And that is what we see here from the first stage. That's a preview, and which only includes 3 fields. So then when you put the filter condition, you can now do the same thing as what we did in documents. You cannot put the condition on all the fields we have in the documents, because now we only have 3 fields left. We only have age, sex, and BMI. And you can choose to add, I don't know, female, for example. So let's select by sex. That's my first condition. And I'm gonna filter sex. I will only leave all the females records here. And then similar, it will make the live updates here and based on the conditions. So that is a match condition you can put. You can definitely put multiple conditions as well. You can make a comparison. Say BMI is greater than 25, let's say. And then for the greater than, we have 2 columns, and we need to add brackets here. Okay, so that indicates BMI is greater than 25. And then others, all the documents we have here will be something greater than 25. And now you can see we have 2 stages, and the one for projection, another one for matching. And now you see on the operator part, we have next to this drop-down menu, we have 3 things. And we can exclude the stage from pipeline and say if you don't need the stage in this aggregation operation, and let's just turn it off. So after we turn A off, and our documents will be processed directly to the second stage. Basically, now the second stage becomes the first one. And we will include all the fields, and we still apply this field condition on that. He will still have all the fields with BMI larger than 25. But whatever you put in the first stage will be discarded, and basically it will not be applied on the documents. And now if you want it back, you simply turn it on. So that's basically like a turn off and on button. And if you want to remove it permanently, you can click the delete stage and just delete the whole stage, and it will be removed. But what I suggest is that I will suggest you just turn it off. I mean, who knows, probably you're gonna need to use that later, right? And then another thing you can do is you can add it in add an edge below. If you want to do something between the project and the match, you can add it. And below you can add a new one between these 2 stages. So now let's just remove it. Okay. So that is our match stage, and we can keep adding it. So let's do our main stage, which we call the group. So group by, and that has the same idea as a group by clause in SQL. And after you click the group operator, it will give you sort of like a template thing, and a proprietary for you, and it has an ID. So that's a group by ID. So which column do you want to use and to group your data? So now let's say I have one categorical variable, which is sex. So I would like to group by sex. So I tap the sex directly, but it seems there's some error and probably some issue, because our sex now is on the value part. What we would like to do is that if the field name is on the right side of the column, and we would like to add a quote, and then we would like to add the $sign before that. Okay, so let's just do that. And then that's the first part, as the group by part, and what kind of aggregate function you want to use, and what kind of value do you want to calculate. So we have two other columns. We have age and BMI. So first thing, let's do an average age. So for average age, and again, it sets a template. You need to fill out two things, and what kind of it called the accumulator. So basically, it's another the operator or aggregate function that you want to use. So you can type the $sign, and it gives you some hint. So let's do AVG, so average, and we want to apply the average on age column. Okay, so the same thing that is on the right side of the column, we're gonna add a quote, and we're gonna add the $sign to indicate that it is an age field from the previous stage. And now we have our average age. And since we only have two sexes, so male, female, then it's gonna show both and with a calculated average age. We can add it, say I want to do a maximum BMI. And let's just simply copy that and paste it here. So again, that's a BSOM format. Between two elements, you need to have a comma. So you need to add a comma here after your second field, so average age. So let's do a maximum BMI. So I want to change my operator to maximum, and the field is BMI. Okay, so now I have another fields. And remember, another thing probably want to do is I want to see how many records I have for male and female. So we said we can do that. Again, let's copy that, add a comma, paste it here. So I want to do n record. So let's call it, that's gonna be the field name. And how I want to do that, again, remember that we don't have a count as aggregate function. MongoDB, how MongoDB does it is an alternative way to use a sum, and to add one for each existing records. So that is what we can do. We can sum one for all the records. And that you can see right over here, and we'll have the n records, and they're gonna count how many records we have for male and female. So number is a little bit different. And if you add these two numbers up, and it's gonna be different from our original data set, because in the previous stage, we have a filter condition, and after that, they actually exclude some records from our original collection. If you add it together, it's like 1,090 something in total. So basically that's it. So that's our group stage. Just remember that you need to give the ID, which is usually a categorical variable, and you need to give a field name, whatever you want to see in the display, and then tell system how you want to calculate the value using the aggregate function, and using either a constant value or a field in your previous stage. And that's a group. So we're okay on that. So I'm gonna add one more, and let's do a sort. So let's do a sort. And the sort is another stage we can do. Again, like the sort in the Documents tab, we already put it at the end. I mean, after we finish all the group and the matching and all other operations, so we make sure our output will not be changed, and that's the thing we want. And we just want to change the display format. So we can do the sort, and the structure is the same as the sort query. So we'll simply give the field name and the sort order. So I want to do ascending, and the field name, so ascending based on what? And the field name should be something you have from the previous stage. So basically it's ID, average age, maximum BM, and N records. So let me sort by N records. Okay. So in record, now you can see that ascending, so smaller value, so first, and then the larger value is the second. You can modify that, or you can add more to this sort part. And I remember it's a lot of things that we discussed. That here in the aggregation stage, we have another thing called count. And which can help us to count how many documents we have from previous stage. And you only need to give one thing, say the comments, give you the hints, you need to provide the file name for the count. So I just call it N, capital N, okay? And N, it counts how many documents we have from previous stage, 1, 2, so N equals 2. And if I disable the previous 2 stages, and you see the number changed, because now it takes all the documents from this matching stage and to count how many records we have. And then it shows you that we have 1091 records. And if we turn off this matching and the N changed again, it has 1,338, which equals to the total number of records we have in our original collections. So that is the count stage that we can use. Think, well, you should be able to, I don't know whether it's my MongoDB problem or what, because here is, you can see the small hand, you should be able to change the positions, and by dragging the stage up and down. But I don't know what happens here. Anyway, it worked before. It's like 5 months ago, but now it stopped working. So I don't know whether it's a bug or it's my Compass problem. Probably you can try it by your own. And if it doesn't work, then don't worry about that. If it's a bug, I hope we're gonna fix that later. So anyway, we should have the function that you are able to adjust the position or the order for the stages. If not, then you can simply like delete it and then manually copy all your definition for this stage to another stage, which can help you to do that. Okay. And let's turn off this one, and that will be it for the pipelines. So in this case, a good thing that you don't need to write a very long query to perform the aggregation in MongoDB. And whenever you choose a specific operator, it's going to help you to build the templates and give you all the brackets. And one last thing I want to mention, I think I forgot about that on the project stage. So we said in the project stage, you can choose to include, exclude the fields. You can also choose to make some calculation based on what you have. So let me show you this one. I think we had an example on division, so let's do a divide. by 1000. Okay, so let's do this. New charges. Okay, so in this project stage, what you can also do is you can define a new field and use a new field to save some, let's call it calculated value. And you can make use of the original fields you have in the collection and to make such calculation. So in my case right over here, I'm calculating a new charges value, which stores the calculated value. The calculation comes from the original charges value and divided by 1000. So you can compare the value and you will see they are the same, and it just I move the small dot like 3 digits for that. And then that's another thing you can do. And in addition to just simply specify which field to include or exclude, you can create a new field that stores a calculated value. Again, what you need to give is a new field name and the calculation. And for calculation, you cannot use the math operators that you use in other program language, but you have to use a MongoDB operator starting from $, and with some things I use divide. It also provides you like add and multiplication, and the minus. I think the minus is sub or something like that. You need to check the MongoDB documents for the specific operator. But anyway, you need to use the operator to do that. And now because I want to perform the division on two values, one from my field, another is a constant value. So I define an array using the square bracket and to put the two values there. And because that's a division, so the order matters, I don't want to use 1000 divided by charges, and I want to do charges divided by 1000. So I have to put charges in the first place and the 1000 in second place. So that's another thing you can do. Again, to create a new field and store the calculated value. So those will be a thing that we have in this aggregation tab, and which can help you to perform the aggregate query. And that is all this video is about. On different stage you can put, and that's how you can perform aggregation using MongoDB Campus.